You might remember Castleminer Zs being a Minecraft-like survival game where the objective is to survive and do whatever you want in the world of Castleminer Z. However, what you may not remember is all the other game modes that the game had to offer. In today's video, we will be looking at the Castleminer Z's unofficial story mode. Castleminer Z does not officially have a story mode, however, on the game mode Endurance it is made clear that there is an objective that you have to complete. You see, unlike survival and other game modes, in Endurance you cannot save your world, meaning once you leave the game, that's it. This means whatever you do in this game is not going to be saved and everything must be done in one run. So what do you do in Endurance? In Endurance you are tasked with killing the undead dragon, the final and hardest dragon type enemy of all in Castleminer Z. This means in one sitting you have to travel all the way to the Hell on Earth biome and have strong enough gear to defeat the undead dragon. Upon defeating the undead dragon, you will unlock the Dragon Endurance game mode, which is similar to Endurance, however, you'll be fighting off waves of dragons instead of just waves of undead. Furthermore, achievements are enabled in Endurance, unlike Survival, further solidifying the fact that this is the official game mode of Castleminer Z. Upon loading into Endurance, you are once again placed next to the Lantern Tower, signifying the spawn location. The world is still the same as Survival and has all the same biomes. You're spawning with the same basic gear such as the pistol and knife. You might notice that in this game mode there is no sprint bar. This means no sprinting or double jumping, making the journey to the undead dragon a lot slower and a lot harder. Immediately upon spawning in, I decided to grab some essential resources such as coal and stone in order to begin crafting and upgrading my gear, as if I wanted to survive my journey I was going to need to upgrade, and after deciding on the LMG as my weapon of choice, I now had a goal. I made a basic axe and began collecting wood from nearby trees. After collecting some wood, I had my first dragon encounter, the Fire Dragon. The Fire Dragon is the weakest of all dragon types, but even so, it took almost all of my bullets in my basic pistol to take it down. This is why we need to craft the LMG and get some serious upgrades. After what felt like an eternity, the Fire Dragon finally falls. For whatever reason, I could not find the dragon's loot, so after spending almost an entire day fighting the dragon, I gained nothing from it. It was now coming to night time, and night time is extremely dangerous in Castleminer Z. As you see, the undead will only spawn in daytime as you progress further from spawn, so every few blocks you travel, you'll have undead spawn. But at night time, the undead will continuously spawn no matter if you move. Since I couldn't progress during the night time, I spent the night looking for the last resources I need for the LMG, as I will need it to traverse the desert biome. I found a cave and thought I was safe, but no. I died. When you die in Castleminer Z, you will not lose anything in your hotbar, but you will lose whatever is in your inventory. This means you have 16 slots for items that you want to keep in case you die. After respawning, I immediately went back into the cave to collect the resources I needed, and after I finally collected all the resources, I was able to craft my first weapon for the run, the LMG. After crafting the LMG, I decided to craft the gold LMG, which is essentially a better high damaging LMG. I did this because the reload speed of an LMG takes a very long time, and that could get me killed if I get swarmed by multiple enemies. So if I'm not careful, I could die during this run. So having a spare LMG I can change to in a pinch could save me many deaths in the future. It was at this point I realised that mining gold with an iron pickaxe in Castleminer Z is like mining obsidian. Like seriously, look at this. But after a painstaking amount of time, I had finally gotten my LMG, my golden LMG. It wasn't long before I encountered my first forest dragon. With my new LMGs, it was not too difficult to take down. The real problem was the waves of difficult undead that kept coming at me. These undead were already eating a lot of my bullets and were difficult to kill. Ammo was draining fast and it was not looking great. But after I'd killed the dragon, it had dropped my first bloodstone, an essential part later on in this run. We were now in the desert and there's not much to the desert. It's mostly flat, therefore making it quite easy to see the enemies before they can swarm. But the real problem is how much ammo was draining just to kill the regular undead enemies, as it had me worried that I was going to run out of ammo before reaching the mountain biome. We finally made it to the mountain biome, but before I set foot into it, I decided to dig underground. I needed to collect some more resources to make the necessary ammo for the next part of the run. However, it seemed that the undead had a different idea, as he actually started destroying the blocks to try and get to me, which forced me to dig down further and further, and you can see here just how long it is taking me to kill one enemy, so this is why we need to upgrade. I spent a while digging for resources and eventually came across my first diamond. This allowed me to create my first teleport using the bloodstone I had received from the forest dragon earlier. These teleporters allow you to set a spawn point so you can teleport back by consuming the teleporter. It essentially gives you a save point, but it's a one-time use, so making multiple of these will become essential in the run later on. I made a diamond pickaxe and mined some more diamond and bloodstone in order to create more teleporters. This meant that dying would no longer be as much as an issue, as I'd always have a save point to return to. In this cave, I found a monster spawner. If you didn't know, in the survival game mode of Castleminer Z, you can find loot blocks scattered around the world. These loot blocks range from normal blue loot blocks to orange lucky loot blocks, and they randomly drop loot anywhere from torches up to laser weapons. However, in the endurance game mode, there's actually no loot blocks that just spawn in the world like survival game mode, and the only way to get them, as far as I know, was by completing these monster spawner challenges. So we completed the monster spawner challenge and we got a lucky loot block, which is actually a chance on its own, and I received the bloodstone pistol, which was a massive upgrade to my damage. I instantly got to creating ammo for my new gun, and once I felt ready, mined to the surface to give it a go. And yeah, you can see why this is good. With newly found confidence, I felt like I could continue travelling at night. Turns out that confidence is not enough, as after travelling a fair bit, I get swarmed and killed. Luckily, however, I had set my spawn point using the new teleporter device, so not all was lost. After teleporting back to the mountain biome, I was met with a fire dragon. Basically, in Castleminer Z, each biome has a set dragon, but if you fast travel from the spawn point, the fire dragon, which spawns at the spawn point, will follow you to wherever you teleport. So the fire dragon isn't too difficult to defeat, as with a single clip of my bloodstone pistol, the fire dragon was killed. It really does show how weak the weapons were and how lucky we were to get this upgraded pistol. After a few close calls, we finally entered the snowy biome. Similar to the desert biome, it is mostly flat and therefore not too hard to travel through. However, nothing could be that easy, as the frost dragon had spawned in. The frost dragon is the only dragon in the game who does not fire fireballs, but instead shoots balls of ice. That, plus the many hordes of the undead, it was full panic mode, and I had to break Minecraft's #1 rule and dig straight down to safety. I decided to collect more resources and make more teleporters to ensure we had many chances of fighting the undead dragon and to avoid having to run all the way back from spawn. After about an hour since I started this run, we finally make it to 3000, also known as the Orlands. The Orland is rich with resources and therefore was our last chance to get some upgrades before fighting the undead dragon. I came across an alien crash site. If you didn't know, the best weapons in Castleminer Z are the alien laser weapons, which can be crafted from the resources found at the alien crash site. I decided I might try to get some of these resources. However, I soon found out that you need a bloodstone pickaxe to mine the alien crash site, and we only had a diamond one. So it was now night time and I was getting swarmed. I had no choice but to try and escape, but I died. Night travel is too hard for this run. We once again used another teleporter to return to the death site and eventually came across another monster spawner. Hoping to get lucky, I activated the monster spawner and completed it. However, a fire dragon had followed us from spawn and decided to destroy the loot block, so I did not get any loot and it was just a waste of time. After quickly disposing of the dragon, we ventured into the Hell on Earth biome, the final biome we need to go through to find the undead dragon. Very quickly we came across another monster spawner, which just so happened to drop a laser shotgun, one of the best weapons in the game. This was huge. We now had an effective weapon against the undead dragon. The laser shotgun does a lot of damage and has a lot of range. The Hell biome is, well, red, I guess. This is where the hardest enemies will spawn and it is no joke. We died pretty much instantly stepping foot into the biome. After respawning, I reloaded all of my weapons and prepared to try again. Straight away we were greeted by a Helllord, which do look scary but are really not too hard to take down with a new laser shotgun, and the real problem was the waves of undead that kept spawning. Once again, a fire dragon had followed us from spawn, but using our new laser shotgun, we killed that dragon pretty much instantly. The undead dragon will not spawn until we reach the distance of 4000, so once we hit that number, it was time to fight. My plan to defeating the undead dragon was to build up and try and get my weapons in range of the dragon, as most weapons in the game do have a distance that the bullets will disappear, and building myself up would also stop myself from getting attacked from the undead on the ground. However, by doing this, I effectively reduced the amount of space I had to dodge the dragon's fireballs. On top of that, I also didn't realise the fireballs can destroy my stone blocks, so this plan was a bust. After falling to my death, I teleported back. I had a new plan this time, however, I had stupidly not set my spawn point at 4000, but instead 3600. This meant every try I had to run 400 blocks and survive the undead, which didn't really go well. After dying again, I needed to create more teleporters to ensure I did not lose my progress. For this, I needed some sand. I quickly gathered some sand whilst at spawn and teleported back to try again. My new plan was to still tower up, but as the dragon fired their fireballs, I would build up to avoid them. After successfully reaching 4000 this time, I tried again and died. Yeah, this was going to be harder than I originally thought. I gathered more sand, made more teleporters and travelled back. We were now running dangerously low on ammo. My Bloodstone pistol only had 2 bullets left. However, in Castleminer Z, there seems to be a bug or feature, because I don't really know if it's intended or not, but if you have no ammo in your gun and have less ammo in reserves than what the gun can hold, you can essentially never use up the ammo. Put simply, we had unlimited 2 bullets. This meant I could reload 2 bullets, shoot them, reload again for an infinite amount of times. By doing this, I travelled closer to the Undead Dragon boss fight and set my new spawn point, making it a lot easier to get to the boss on every attempt. But before I could reach the boss, a zombie killed me. Another attempt and the Hell Lord came to bless my run. I towered up to try and get in range of the dragon and escape the undead below, and tried my strat again of outbuilding the dragon's fireballs, but this did not work again. Sand, Bloodstone, set spawn, and we're back. Run number, I don't really know. I was now running dangerously low on shotgun ammo, 1 bullet to be exact, so I had to shoot and then reload every time. It was at this point where I realised my guns could not reach the dragon from the ground and towering up was not working, but then I remembered that laser weapons are OP. With my laser shotgun, I could reach the undead dragon from the ground, but only with 1 bullet at a time. I had infinite ammo, and although it would be slow, it was technically possible. I was determined. With a new strat, I was ready to finally end this run. And just like that, the undead dragon falls. I quit to the main menu to see if I unlocked Dragon Endurance, and yes, we had. There it was. It was finally over. And yeah, that's the end of the unofficial story mode of Castleminer Z. It was an interesting run, took me about 2 hours to complete, and I had work the next morning, so I actually was kind of rushing it a bit. There is definitely a lot more you can do if you had a little bit more time, but I had fun nonetheless. I'm probably going to attempt Dragon Endurance next. In this game mode, you can actually save your progress, so I'm quite interested to see what that is like. But yeah, that is it for today, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.